And we are live, guys. Hello, everyone. Good evening for everyone who's watching us in Melbourne. Thank you for finding time this evening to join our live discussion. And, if you're in Melbourne, how are you going with isolation number 2? Let us know. And please introduce yourself in the comments. So I'll even pop it up on the screen. So if you're joining us, please make sure you introduce yourself in the comments. Let us know where you're watching us from. And if you're watching us from Melbourne, let us know how you're going these days. It's only like 3.5 weeks to go, guys. We're almost there. So, and as I often say, isolation maybe not a great time to be stuck at home all the time, but it's a great time to learn something new. And also, that's a time when we transform and adapt our businesses for the online world. And we know that events are a great way to grow your business. And we also know that going to run like face-to-face events will be really tricky in the near future, particularly in Melbourne. So it's time to transform your events into digital world. And we definitely can see this massive growth in online webinars, live streams like this, like talk shows, podcasts. And, it is getting crowded. It is getting crowded here. So how we can stand out from the crowd, how we can run these online events, promote these online events, and how we can make sure that we actually have attendees. Yeah. So today, me and Anna, we are going to discuss why most of the people run events wrong and actually what they need to do to get it right. And how you can get as much traction as possible, including the high numbers of attendees, engagement, and of course, some sales. Because often if you're running the business event, we want some conversion from the event, and we want to find new clients. Yeah. So obviously these days, if your business is not aligned, it doesn't exist. So that's why make sure, if you are transitioning online, not only you need to be online, you also need to make sure that people can find you online and can find your event online. So make sure you tag your friends who need to hear this, and make sure to introduce yourself in the comments. And before I'll pass it to Anna to introduce herself, I just want you to remind you that we are going live both on LinkedIn, YouTube, and I think I'm streaming on Facebook today. So we're actually live on the free platforms today. So you can watch replay as well. I would recommend you to watch replay on the YouTube. That's the easiest way. So make sure you actually subscribe to YouTube channel, because it's the easiest way to find my live streams. I'm going live every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. with different experts from my network, and we're talking about the things, effective communication online, LinkedIn, personal branding. So we are going to answer all your questions from all the platforms. So make sure to jump in and type your questions in the comments. And also, please make sure you are participating during the live stream, because Anna actually has some giveaways at the end of the live stream today as well. So you can actually get some help from Anna, then you're gonna run your next event. So guys, before, I'll stop talking for, for a second and pass it on to Anna to introduce herself. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody out there in the land of the internet. Nice to have some people here. I can see us on the Gold Coast. As Yana said, would love to hear who you are, where you're from, and how you guys are going. So as Yana said, my name is Anna Osherov. I'm an eventologist. I'm a speaker, trainer, facilitator on the art of event marketing, how really to build your brand and your business utilizing events. And my best customers are visionary leaders, and I take them from unknown to industry influencers through that power of live events, whether they're face-to-face or online as we are right now. So thank you for having me, Yana.
Thank you, Anna. And a few people are saying, hi, Vicky is here from the Gold Coast. Oh, I wish I'd be in the Gold Coast now.
I know.
Would be the best place in Australia to be now. Peter is Melbourne. Peter, how are you going? How are you going with this Oh, great time in Melbourne. So anyway, Anna, first question would be, I guess, the simple one. So where would we start? You know, we want to run an event, and probably want to run an event online, but we just not even sure what kind of event to run. Like, so what's your tip number one? Where would we start when it comes to running your event?
That is a great question, Jana. So my very first recommendation for anybody looking to run an event is to really think about what is the purpose of this event for me in my business. And, you know, I ask this question to so many of my clients, and 95% of the time, the answer that I get is, well, I'd really like to give my audience XYZ. And whilst giving value in an event is so important, unless we can first and foremost understand, why am I running this event for me in my business? Am I looking to gain brand awareness? Do I want to get new clients? Do I want to increase my database? Do I want to make more sales? Do I just want to practice content? You know, this is such a good way to practice your content, seeing if it works. So really being able to understand what is the purpose of the event first and foremost then enables us to build the right type of event for our audience, for our business, for future growth. So that's a really good question.
And I'm really glad, Anna, that you mentioned about what's the purpose of this event for your business. Because we can see, like, every time people think about, what I can give, what will be experienced for my clients, and getting so overwhelmed with these things and organizing that stuff that not completely, but often disregard where this event actually stand in their overall marketing strategy or their overall business strategy, and what we're actually trying to achieve and how we're going to follow up from this event and so on. And, you know, guys, I actually want to ask you, whoever on the line with us today, have you run any online events yet? Have you tried to run a webinar or maybe live stream or something? Just pop in the comments if you have you done any, and or maybe you're planning to do one. Maybe, you know, you may be on the stage and you're trying to decide if you need to run this online event. And, you know, Anna, I guess the second question would be, okay, we decide to run our event. We know, we pick the topic, and now we're deciding, you know, with promotion. And I feel like often, and I'm guilty myself. Of it. So we kind of a bit scared of being too self-promoting, too, like, a bit on the border of being like annoying. We're thinking like, oh my God, like, you know, if I'll send like 5 emails, am I too annoying? If people gonna like unsubscribe because I keep, you know, bombarding them in the emails? Or if I put the same, email, LinkedIn post, Facebook post, is the people gonna, you know, get annoying that I'm putting the same information everywhere? So how you overcome all these, you know, objections in your mind?
It's actually really interesting that you said objections in your mind, because those objections are primarily in our minds. Out of what we just mentioned, let's think about the realistic fact about marketing in general, right? We know that statistically only like 20% of emails get opened. Now, we also know that about 7% of what we put in our newsfeed is actually seen on the other side by people who may or may not be part of our target audience. And so I was doing a presentation last night, and one of the things I mentioned was that I don't want to be pushy is your biggest enemy. It's your biggest enemy. So we want to be pushy. If we're thinking about the event, so if the purpose of the event for us in our business is whatever that might be, brand awareness, selling more products, but the purpose for the person who's interested in coming to our event is to gain value, right? And we know we have value to share, right? We know that we've been working for God knows how long. We've been working on our IP. We know that what we've got is really valuable. And so we've spoken about it, and it's our duty to push the opportunity out there to our clients to get them engaged and involved so that they can come and experience. So we must be pushy. We must be pushy across all channels. And, you know, some of the greatest email marketing campaigns, especially for events, and especially if somebody has already expressed interest, they come through 2 or 3 times a week. And we know what, if people unsubscribe, it's because they're not your ideal client. And we want less of them. So let them unsubscribe. It's our duty to get to a point where somebody makes a decision, whether it's a decision of a yes or a decision of a no. Either way, that's really great, because we've got to a point where we've got them to make a decision. And if we're finding that there's, yeah, go ahead.
And it's a really great point, you know, like even then people ask me, you know, oh, how many times per day I need to post, for example, or like, should I post like, I don't know, every day on LinkedIn, for example. It's never about how many times you need to post. It's about how relevant you are. If you can stay relevant and post 5 times a day, why not? But if you're just producing content for the sake of producing content, of course, people gonna unsubscribe. People gonna unsubscribe not because you're annoying, it's because you're irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. It is because you're irrelevant to them. Not irrelevant in general. You're irrelevant. Yeah, you're irrelevant to them. And you know what? That's okay. We can't be relevant to everybody. We're better off. It's that sort of 80-20 rule. We really always get 80% of our business and 20% of our customers. So we really need to focus on that top 20% and make sure that we are relevant to them, that we give them the right content. And those people are your fans. They don't care if you give them too many emails. They'll just sign up to what they want, and then they'll ignore your other emails, and that's fine as well. Sometimes I think when you think about it, well, how do I interact with people I like? Not with people I don't like, with people that I like online.
And that's actually a really great point. I remember someone gave me, in one of the webinars, someone gave a really good example of looking at your clients as cats, dogs, and rats. And, like we so often trying to chase rats and cats, like rats the one who like don't care, they smart enough, and they just, cats the one that kind of care, but still have their own opinion. And there is the dogs that like do everything for you. And we're so busy chasing the rats and cats, then we forgot about dogs who just hear, and everything they want just attention.
That is such a good analogy, Jana. I love it. I love it.
And I sometimes like coming back in my mind, and I guess everyone who think about like marketing and stuff, and feeling a bit emotional about it, need to come back to this analogy. And I know you have this emotional event journey example here.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, 100%. So this is what I see happening, and I'm sure if you have run an event before, any form of event, you would have experienced this. We have this really great idea that we want to run an event, yeah? And then what we do is we set the date. That big X is, I have set the date. And then we go, oh, what do I do now? So we do all the things we know how to do. We put it on some form of ticketing platform. We might put an event on social media. We might send out one email because we don't want to be pushy. And then we wait. And we wait and we hope that people will buy our tickets. And then, as we talked about earlier, what ends up happening is only 20% of your emails get opened. Only 7% of what we do is shown in the news feed. So we feel like we've done lots of work because we've done a landing page and a ticket page and a post about it and an email about it, but no one's seen it. And so then what we do is we wait and nothing happens. And so you can see how that phase gets sadder and sadder. And then we sell a ticket and we sell another ticket, so we get a bit happier. And then about 2 weeks out from our event, we get really irritated. Not only do we get angry, and anxious and stressed, but we also start to get really resentful towards all of those lovely people who said they'd come and they're not coming. Why? Because we're not being effective enough in our marketing, right? We're not going after those dogs, as Jana said. So then what happens is we hustle. And the last 2 weeks is always a hustle. We're like, yeah, I'm going to call people and I'm going to do everything that I've been avoiding for the last, however long before your event, because I don't want to be pushy. People will come. I don't want to talk about how I might be failing in this. And then we go, oh, the event's coming up. I've got to do something. And so then we end up hustling. We get there, we run the event, and that happy little face is how we feel after we run the event. And then what happens is we go, I know, I've got an awesome idea. I'm going to run another event.
And then the whole thing, and then the
whole thing happens again. Yeah, but we can mitigate that. We can't prevent it, but if we avoid the mistake, then we can help mitigate that roller coaster and make it a bit more flatter and a bit more nicer with a bit more smiley faces, and you'll still get a total high at the end of your event.
So Anna, and I guess we're coming to the next question here. So what's these common mistakes? What actually people often do wrong, especially from your experience? What do you see your clients do wrong then they organizing their online events?
Yeah, so thank you. So what I've seen time and time again really comes up to 4 problems. There's poor planning. So that would be, I don't know the purpose of this event for my business. I don't understand my target audience very well. I haven't planned the venue or the online space very well. Then it comes to poor marketing. So the I don't want to be pushy is a huge problem for so many people. And so if we're not doing our marketing well, then we are bound to just fall behind in our events. We're not going to be able to fill them. And then I find that sometimes it comes down to execution. And what execution means is, how do we perform at the event? And so some people are great at marketing. Some people can really get people in the room. They know all the technology. We've put some money behind our event so that we're able to sell our tickets or get registrations. And then when we run the event, we run it poorly. So our content might be terrible. We might not know how to use the technology. We may look really bad. We don't understand how to sell from stage or how to offer the next step in our pitch. And so then we execute very poorly. So we spent all this time planning and promoting, and then we've executed really terribly. And finally, we didn't follow up. And if you don't follow up, you leave 80% of your business in the room, right? And so we need to follow up. We need to follow up with the people that came along. We need to follow up with the people that didn't come along, and then follow up in all of our marketing collateral to build that FOMO and that social proof for our next event. And it becomes an ongoing process that we can continue to implement in order to continuously build our brand and our business using events as a marketing channel.
Great points here, Anna. And I guess the following up bit, that's a bit that people often forget. I think there's actually a statistic that majority of the small businesses fail because they fail to follow up. You know, you have this 100%. Great idea, you market it, you execute it, and then you suddenly wait for conversions, and conversions is not there. And often it's simply because we didn't follow up.
Yeah. I was doing research. I was doing research for a client. So I've been working in marketing and communications since 2006, and I completed a Bachelor of Comms. So I've worked with a lot of small business owners, and I was doing some research for a client of mine. He was a painter, and we decided to do some phone calls to find out, you know, why they enjoyed working with this particular painter. Because it's really good to do interviews of your clients so that you can really understand what they think about you, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And so I actually asked, one of the questions I asked was, why did you decide to go with Con and not with somebody else? And the response from maybe 60% of the people I spoke to was, because he sent us a quote. And I thought, wow, imagine being a painter and coming to someone's house and looking around and then not sending a quote, just not doing that. So, you know, it's very similar in that follow-up process. It's like having somebody in your room, you tell them all about yourself, they spend so much time with you, and then you don't send them anything.
Such a great example. I remember I actually asked someone to quote me for like a bathroom cabinet, and they never sent me a quote, and I couldn't be bothered even doing it. still didn't paint my bathroom cabinet because he didn't send me a quote. I'm like, oh well, like I don't really care about it. But if they would send me a quote, I probably honestly would go ahead.
I was stunned. I was so stunned because he sent me a quote, and I thought, wow, that's not hard, is it?
No, but it's again coming back to this emotional part that we're scared to feel too pushy or too annoying or things or all of these things. And I ask guys like who's listening to us, what's usually your objection? So do you if you run an event, so did you make any of these mistakes? Did you or maybe vice versa, maybe you're really great at marketing but not great at execution, or great at planning but maybe not great at follow-ups. So what about you guys? What's your what do you feel your main mistakes when it comes to promoting events? And Anthony is actually asking if you, Anna, can share the slides online later.
Sure, no problem at all. I can do that, or you can do that. I don't mind which one of us posts that. Do you want to do it from your side?
We can post them in the comments.
Okay, yeah, great. We'll post them in the comments.
We can post them actually in the comments.
Access to them all. Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely can share the slides later. And don't forget, guys, you're more than welcome to ask questions, Anna, while we're online as well. So, okay, so, and I guess we're coming back to the next part. So once we overcome all these common mistakes, so what's our strategy? How are we gonna promote and organize our event? So I know you have your framework here. So would you like to take us through this?
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look at this framework. So number one, we need clarity. So as I mentioned, we need to understand the purpose of this event for us in our business. Once we understand what we're trying to achieve, so that's brand awareness, it might be connecting with our current customers. For a lot of financial services companies, they've got such a long list of current and past customers. Events are a great way to reconnect with those customers, Or it might be around creating new content. So doing what we're doing right now, Jana, is a great way to create content ongoing for us in our business. And I know some businesses that only run an event to create content for the next 6 months within their business. Because if you do a 3-hour face-to-face event for your clients, then you can still get a videographer and a photographer and really get so much content moving forward. So once we've got that real clarity around what we're doing, then we can plan our event. We can plan both our event logistics and our event marketing. So we can create the event, we can create the event online, we can understand what we want to communicate at the event as far as our presentation. And then once we've got our plan, we then promote. And we need to promote the shizzle out of our event. Look for a small event. If you've never run a small group event before, I recommend giving yourself minimum 7 weeks, 1 week to sort of plan your content, and then 6 weeks of the actual promotion. And promote across, so don't forget that there's lots and lots of places we are able to promote our event. So we have our ticketing platform, so whether that is Eventbrite or your landing page or Humanitics or another ticketing platform. Then we've got our social media. People are on Facebook. Facebook is still the highest used social media platform in the world. So if we say our clients aren't on Facebook, we're lying to ourselves. So we can use Facebook and we can use LinkedIn, especially if we're working within the business-to-business space, and we can utilize Instagram, especially if you've got beautiful products. So put your content about at your event. Put your content about your speakers. If you have speakers at your event, encourage them to share that content. Also, printed collateral. So if you have a beautiful opportunity to speak at an event, like I am speaking now, and you've got an event coming up, and if you're doing it, say, either in a face-to-face environment, print a registration form. Take that with you. I've made up to 50% conversion into an event from speaking at an event. And it was because because I spoke, number one, but also because you have a printed registration form. Or if you're in, say, a cafe, or you're a yoga instructor and you're running an event, print some flyers, put them in and around where your customers will be able to find them. Mobile phone, great place to market. Great place. People hate it. Were you going to ask a question, Yana?
Yeah, I just wanna add. You mentioned it. You mentioned it quite briefly, but you mentioned that actually asking the speaker to promote event, and I find that it's really effective way on the social media when it actually takes this emotional bit from you as well. So then you send your speakers some promotional materials and ask them to to share around as well. Not only you're getting some cold audience, but you also, it's not always come from you, it's come from other people, and it feels like referral. So that's actually quite strong way to promote online events. But I would always say, like, make it easier for your speaker to promote it. Yeah. So don't just ask them, "Oh, can you promote it?" But actually write them a brief, like send them a picture. So give them some collateral so that it will be as simple as possible for them to promote it as well.
100%. Yeah, that's what I always recommend for all of my clients. And you can just template that, right? You can just template that, or even just send them the promotion that you're using, but send it to them so that they've got an overview of the event, they've got the link, they've got their details, they've got a photo of themselves with you or a photo of themselves at the event. And yeah, that is a really, really fantastic way. And what I loved about what you just said, Yana, is when you said we take the emotion out of it, because it's very hard to promote for ourselves. Unless we're either highly trained, successful salespeople or narcissists, it's really difficult to promote for ourselves, because we do feel it's not in our nature to, beat our own drum. And so, yeah, having somebody else do that, or if you've got an assistant, like a virtual assistant, if you can outsource, do. However, if you do outsource, please make sure you know what you're doing first and then brief somebody else to do it. Otherwise, you might not get what you asked for, because the other person just never knows you as well as you know you. So find the process and then you can outsource it. So that's all about promotion. So promotion, and look, the mobile phone, as I mentioned, SMS, calling people, really great way to convert, but also to understand why somebody may or may not want to go to your event. So you might think that no one's coming along, or people aren't coming along because you've got the wrong copy. But you might speak to somebody and say, well, you know what? They might say, well, you know what? I'm currently homeschooling, and you might not realize this. I'm currently homeschooling, and your event is on at the exact same time as, my kids start school, or it might be dinner time in our household, or you just never know what the reason might be. Our default is I'm not good enough. It might just be that the timing isn't right. And so having a conversation on the phone to people will really help you to understand where is there a discrepancy, but also really help to sell that event. So once it's promoted, we get to the day and we need to shine. And that means that we know our content. We're ready. We look good. We've put effort into making ourselves look our best selves, because we're asking people to give up their time and sometimes their money to be in a room or in a digital environment with us. So we must show up and really do our best to deliver great content, to curate every part of the experience. People smell, taste, hear, and even see. So we've got the opportunity to do all of that, and we need to do that brilliantly, so people feel like they're really well looked after. And once we've done that, once you've completed the day, most people just go, "Oh, I'm done, I'm tired." And yet if we don't follow up, and this is what we mentioned earlier, we leave so much in business in our room, digital room or face-to-face environment. So we must follow up. And then finally, what's really, really important is we must review and improve. So as you can see, this is an ongoing cycle. So every event, we've got to have clarity. We must plan, promote, shine, follow up, and then review and improve. And if we do this event in, event out, this is a proven formula that will enable you to build your brand and your business through the power of events.
And I love, Anna, that you have this improve bit there. That's the one thing that we often forget as well, because we saw like getting again in the next circle and getting so busy with promotion and marketing, then we actually forget to look at our content and forget actually to update some of our content as well, because there is so many golden nuggets in the questions that people ask you, even the feedback. And we can really, really improve our next event just by looking at this question, just tweaking a few things, just already incorporating this answer for that question that's been asked in the previous event, incorporating this answer straight to your presentation. When I started to do video, I really often like watch all my presentations back and really just listen what I was saying. And even like typing up like how I can say differently and what have I missed, what sort of question people ask at that particular moment. Filming, like recording it is great. And even if you're not going to share the recording is just a really great way to learn and improve and get the feedback for yourself.
Yeah, totally. And recording is really good for content creation, right? You can transcribe that and there's your, blogs for the next God knows how long, plus your social media posts, plus you can take some photos out of your recording. Actually, on the next slide that we look at, there's a photo of me kind of like this. And that photo was me recording an event that I did online just for my purposes, but then I stopped it, screenshot it, and I was like, this is a good opportunity to use in some collateral. So it's really, really important, as much as we might not like to watch ourselves, to really review and, ask for feedback, ask for genuine feedback from people you trust. Don't ask people you don't trust, because they'll tell you things that aren't going to be valuable or relevant. But ask people who you trust to give you really great feedback and improve 100%.
And as you mentioned before, then we're asking people the feedback. The answers often can be not that we would expect. And it could be, you said like as simple, it could be something as simple like, event was too long, or like, like I didn't have time to stay. Like, I would love if you run the same event, but shorter. Could be as simple as it is. Sometimes I think like, if the event is longer, more people will, have more value, but it's actually often not the case. People time poor.
No, that's true. Yeah.
It could be some simple shift like this. Then if you just keep boiling in your head, you will never find the answers. But simply by asking people, you can tweak and twist. So there's a few people saying thanks to us. Thank you guys for joining. Justin here, and great work, Jan and Anna. Enjoy listening and learning for my next event. Actually, what was your biggest takeaway so far, guys? We've been talking for half an hour. We're going to wrap up in a second. Share with us what was your biggest takeaway from today's session. So is it one thing that you can implement straight away? Maybe even if you're not going to run an event, maybe just one thing that you're going to implement anyway. Share with us in the comments. And while you're doing this, I let Anna to talk about your program that's coming up.
Yeah, so we are launching the 0 to webinar here. It's an 8-week program which takes you through how to plan, promote, and present your next successful webinar. And my promise to you is that at the end of 8 weeks, you will be running your own webinar. And it's really for people who want to make a difference, who want to get out there and really engage on a level to bring people to themselves. So it's for coaches, authors, consultants, business owners who would like to run an event, and we are kicking off on the 7th of September.
7th of September. Okay, so still before isolation will finish.
Yeah. Well, look, it's an 8-week program. The idea is so in 8 weeks, we would like to make sure you run an event, which will be in November. So at the start of November, it's probably the latest you'd want to be running events. Although we are heading into Christmas after that. So it's a good time to get your plan together and be able to roll that out. Yeah.
100%. So yeah, eight weeks program. So guys, you can always go to Anna's website. It's on the screen if you wanted to learn more. And also, everyone who's listening today can get a free event promotion checklist from Anna. Is it linked on the screen as well? How people can get this one?
Just email me. So if you email me and say at hello@annaosherov.com and say, I'd like my free gift, I'll know exactly what you are talking about.
There you go. So here's Anna's email on the screen, hello@annaosherov.com if you want to get in touch. Whatever platforms is good, get in touch with. Is LinkedIn good place to connect?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a good place to connect. So if you just Google Anna Osherov, you'll find me. Facebook, LinkedIn, really, I'm there.
Perfect.
Anna, we mentioned we're going to put the slides in the comments. Are you able to do that for them? Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll put the slides in the comments for everyone who's listening. Guys, before we wrap up, let us know if there's any final questions. Paul saying great work. Thank you, Paul. Just jump on our call. Live stream.
Live chat.
Yeah. Call live stream. Yes. Everyone just zoomed out. So, and I guess my last question would be for you, Anna. Also, how did you find this? What people do with like these face-to-face events right now? So we're going through this strange time, and face-to-face is not actually allowed, and people moving to hybrid events as well. Where they can have just certain amount of people in the room and everything else is broadcast. What's your thoughts about it? Do you think people will move to online events, or people will be really missing this face-to-face connection, and as soon as it's all over, everyone starts jumping on the face-to-face again? What's your
good question?
Personal
prediction? Personal prediction. So looking at the statistics and what's predicted to happen generally is that we're looking at more smaller group events. As soon as the restrictions start to drop off, small group events like workshops, seminars, basically enable us to have less people in the room, which makes them safer. So there's been a predicted trend to move to those smaller group events. I believe that personally, that hybrid events will be more a thing of the future, where it will be both in person and live streamed with an audience participation on both sides. I think we still have a lot to learn when it comes to engagement online, and how do we engage people who are in their lounge rooms to be present, to participate, because there's so many distractions at home. So I think that will take a while to get that sort of balance. And again, I think it will take time. So at first people will jump in. We're so hungry to spend time with other human beings at the moment that for the first little while, there'll definitely be a rise. Just like there was a huge rise in online event engagement when we first went into, our current situation. So March, April, May, we saw a real rise in digital events. And I think America now has a bit of a drop in engagement and conversion to digital events. So I think we'll have a similar journey on the way back out. And then when things do stabilize, I believe that there will be a good crossover for those hybrid events and being able to do both experiential, face-to-face and online at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I think the hybrid events is definitely the way to go, because I guess it also depends on the people's personality. There is some introverts who would actually prefer maybe attend the event online and then don't go to a conference with like 500 people. And some people like me who just can't wait to go and socialize with people because I'm just going to suck the energy from everyone. So I just can't wait to go and, talk with people face to face. So I guess it also depends of our clientele and their personality type, their home situation as well, what we're mentioning, like homeschooling and, if they need to spend time with the family and so on. If they can travel, not everyone can jump on a plane and fly to America to some conference. So of course you would maybe attend it online. So definitely I feel like hybrid events is the way to go in the future.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So, but that's kind of what they're saying.
We'll see. It's a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for spending this evening with us. We're hitting the 40 minutes mark, so we're about to wrap up. So again, if you want to get in touch with Anna, make sure have a look on her website, annasherva.com. You can get your event promotion checklist as well. And for those who is following me for a while, I just want to remind you that I'm going live every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m., especially during this beautiful isolation. So next Wednesday, we're going to talk with Rodney about how to use LinkedIn effectively to generate leads. And week after, we're going to talk with Arash about how to improve your online communication with emotional intelligence. Kind of like, the communication is not, digital communication is not only, messages and automation. You still need to bring some emotions and understand that these principles of communication that you use in everyday life actually can be bring online. So we're going to talk about it with Arash on the 2nd of September. And then next one will be Karen, and we'll be talking how to write your LinkedIn profile to get found online. So it will be a few sessions about LinkedIn. So if you guys particularly interested in LinkedIn, there will be a few sessions in the future. Paul say thank you, Paul. And Anna, last thing that you want to say before we say bye.
Last thing I'd like to say is remember that you've got value to share. Please don't hide it. Get out there. Be seen, be known.
And don't be scared to be pushy.
Yeah, don't be scared to be pushy.
100%. Thank you so much, Anna, for everyone out there. If you want to also be a little bit pushy on LinkedIn and start using videos on LinkedIn, you can join my webinar on the 8th of September at 5 p.m. You can register on my website. So much information, isn't it? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Anna. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.